The argument that followed was loud enough to be heard all the way down to the letterboxes.
It was loud enough and long enough to rise above a second spell of rain that fell after the dark. It was loud enough even to distract Boori Ma as she swept the stairwell from top to bottom for the second time that day. And for this reason, she spoke neither of her hard times nor of easier times. She spent the night on a bed of newspapers. The argument between Mr. and Mrs. Dalal was still more or less in effect early the next morning, when a barefoot team of workmen came to install the basins. After a night of tossing and pacing, Mr. Dalal had decided to install one basin in the sitting room of their flat and the other one on the stairwell of the building on the first floor landing. This way, everyone can use it, he explained from door to door. The residents were delighted. For years, they had all brushed their teeth with stored water poured from mugs. Mr. Dalal, meanwhile, was thinking, a sink on a stairwell is sure to impress visitors. Now that he was a company manager, who could say might visit the building? The workmen toiled for several hours. They ran up and down the stairs and ate their lunches squatting against the banister poles. They hammered, shouted, spat, and cursed. They wiped their sweat with the ends of their turbans. In general, they made it impossible for Boori Ma to sweep the stairwell that day. To occupy the time, Boori Ma retired to the rooftop. She shuffled along the parapets, but her hips were sore from sleeping on newspapers. After consulting the horizon on all four sides, she tore what was left of her quills into several strips and resolved to polish the banister poles at a later time. By early evening, the residents gathered to admire the day's labors. Even Boori Ma was urged to rinse her hands under the clear running water. She sniffed. Our bath water was scented with petals and attars. Believe me, don't believe me. It was a luxury you cannot dream. Mr. Dalal proceeded to demonstrate the basin's various features. He turned each faucet completely on and completely off. Then he turned on both faucets at the same time to illustrate the difference in water pressure. Lifting a small lever between the faucets allowed water to collect in the basin if desired. The last word in elegance, Mr. Dalal concluded. A sure sign of changing times, Mr. Chatterjee reputedly admitted from his balcony. Amongst the wives, however, resentment quickly brewed. Standing in line to brush their teeth in the mornings, each grew frustrated with having to wait her turn, for having to wipe the faucets after every use, and for not being able to leave her own soap and toothpaste tube on the basin's narrow periphery. The Dalals had their own sink. Why did the rest of them have to share? Is it beyond us to buy sinks of our own? One of them finally burst out one morning. Are the Dalals the only ones who can improve the condition of this building? Asked another. Rumors began spreading that, following their argument, Mr. Dalal had consoled his wife by buying her 2 kilos of mustard oil, a Kashmiri shawl, a dozen cakes of sandalwood soap, that Mr. Dalal had filed an application for a telephone line, that Mrs. Dalal did nothing but wash her hands in a basin all day. As if this weren't enough, the next morning, a taxi bound for Howrah station crammed its wheels onto the alley. The Dalals were going to Simla for 10 days.